In this tutorial, we'll start off with a simple pad sound and turn it into a full song like so. The first thing I like doing when writing a song is having the right soundscape. In order to obtain the right sound, I start by adding a sampler into my project. Then I will select the sound that best fits the emotions and feelings that go with my song. A new beginning, that is the name and direction we are going today, and so we'll start off by using a pad sound that usually fills the space with melancholy and a gloomy feeling. Second, after choosing the right sound, I want to start building on a chord progression. After I have the desired chord progression, I simply listen to it for a while, just want to hear the story it has to tell. I'll often adjust the BPM as needed to transpose the listener more vividly into the story as well. After we've set a scenery for this particular song, we'll go ahead and add a drum pattern. Before even adding one, we'll go ahead and cut the high end of the song using an Ableton stock plugin, the amazing EQ8, and we'll roll most of our top end for now, and a bit of the low end around 35 Hz. I particularly know my drums well, so this allows me to get a head start before even adding them. Listening to them together already gives me a mellow feeling and everything being alright with a new beginning. After that, I proceed to add a riser to have a smooth transition between the two parts of the song. I adjust the volume properly to have it blend into the mix and also add a smooth 60 seconds reverb on top of it. At the end of the two measures, I'll just add a drum kick to fall. We'll create this effect by using the same drum kick sound and we'll just lower the volume from left to right. For doing that, we'll just use an utility plugin from Ableton stock plugins. Now we'll just preview to hear where the song takes us. This already sounds good, so now I'm thinking of adding a synth with an Arpeggiator MIDI effect on top of it. For that, I'll simply duplicate our pads. Then all we'll have to do is select the right sound to tell the story, and of course adding the Arpeggiator MIDI effect. Once we have our desired sound, we'll just pan it a bit to the left and have it blend into the whole mix of the song. Now, once we have our desired soundscape, it's time to ground everything together by adding the bass. For this particular song, I'll be duplicating the main chords and keep the root notes of the chords a few octaves lower. Choosing the raw bass sound can sometimes be a hard step, but I ensure I have all my desired sounds in one place before I even begin to start writing a song. After adding the bass sound, we'll add an utility plugin to narrow down the width of the sound. Then I'll raise the bass an octave at the end of the first two bars and the last two bars, and I will double that with another bass sound for more depth and dynamic range. Now let's have a listen. The second bass sound I've chosen the first time is a bit too harsh, so I'll just go for something with more depth to it. I'll also add another note at a higher octave as well. Now let's have a listen in context. Yeah, that's more what I like to hear, but I still want it to be a bit more dynamic, so I'll just lower the last note. Then we'll add another EQ8 and roll off the top end of the bass. After that, I'll duplicate another layer of the bass and add a different sound to it for more depth. I oftentimes enjoy having soundscapes, just helping the whole song tell a better story. In order to achieve that, I'll simply use some FOLEY for my sample pack. And we'll just have a blend in with the riser. I'll also make sure to use a different part of the soundscape at the end of the full bar. Then I'll simply tweak the volume to have it sit in the mix better. As you can hear and see, most of the changes we're doing are subtle, because in order to achieve great result, you just have to do little increments of small things. Now we'll just copy the bass movement from the second bar onto the rest of the song. Now it's time to enhance our percussion. We'll do that first by adding an EQ8, rolling the top end of it. Then we'll slowly start to fill the gaps with some one-shots from the same sample pack. We'll make sure to adjust the volume properly to have it sit in the mix. From here on out, it's mostly small tweaks to every little sound bit, so it just sits better in the overall composition. For example, we might just enhance this roll-off from the main drum loop. One of my favorite things to add is a subtle string sound, so we'll just do that right now. For that, we'll be using the root note of the chord, and we'll have it play throughout the whole song. Then we'll simply add a 60 seconds effect on it. This effect is an Ableton stock plugin, so you can simply search for it in your Ableton as well. Then I'll just roll off the low end from the string so it doesn't interfere with our bass. Now that I have a general feel where the direction of the soundscape of the song goes, I'll simply EQ the drum loop a bit and bring more of the highs into the mix. Now, one last thing before we finish, I want to add a subtle chord sound. Let's just do that. Yeah, this sounds good, but it's a bit too bright, so I'll be using a technique where I'll just roll off the beginning of the chords. Yeah, that's way better. Now, one last thing I want to sort out before we finish the song. I want to double the snare sound because I feel it's a bit too shallow. So for that, I'll be just adding another sample and EQ it to fit in with the mix. For that, I'll be adding the EQ8 that we used previously and roll most of the bottom end of it and a bit of the top end as well. Now I'll just copy this sound everywhere we got a snare going on. Now let's have a listen to the whole beat. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.